If you have been watching my videos, or even if you just know that I'm a financial coach, you might think that the title of this video is strange, or even worse, clickbaity, unless you've really been paying attention. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I mean in just a second. Hello, beautiful people. It is me, Tasha K with Gotta Stay. And if you are new here, welcome to the channel where we teach how you can save your first 1K, 10K, or 100K and beyond. If you are a returning visitor, welcome. I am so glad to see you and have you with us. I hope that you're doing well. Today, we're going to talk about what I believe is an unpopular opinion, and that is why you shouldn't stick to your budget. And the key word here is stick. And one of the reasons I say that is because in real life, I feel like most people can't even stick to their budget. Like, it's an unachievable goal if we're being honest, and that's not even a bad thing. And I don't really hear financial coaches talking about this, but the fact of the matter is that you are not a robot. It's not like you can just program yourself with some budget and then automatically you're gonna start ignoring all of your wants and all of your desires. It doesn't work that way, and it doesn't have to work that way, because what I want you to know is that if you were to stick to your budget 50% of the time, it would change your life. If you were to stick to your budget 60% of the time, it would really change your life. And the more you stick to it over time, the more it will change your life. But if you start out acting like you have to stick to it 100%, you're not gonna do it. It's not gonna work. And I think that people feel like, there's this idea of discipline. Like, if I'm just really disciplined, then I'll make this budget work. But in real life, anytime you feel like you need a lot of discipline, that should just let you know right off the bat, there's a high chance that failure is gonna be on the other side of that. And we see this in the fitness industry, in the diet industry, sometimes even with relationships. That's why these are some of the most popular industries, because they require a lot of discipline in order to be successful, but the coaches know it doesn't work like that for real. These things are truly a journey. We've become accustomed to calling every doggone thing a journey, but your finances, right? This is not a place where you just arrive. This is a journey. And I'm gonna just start rambling if y'all let me talk too much, because this is a topic that I am so passionate about. I love it so much. I feel like we are doing budgeting so wrong. And who's paying the price? You are. So if you haven't already, I highly recommend that you take our budget style quiz. I'm gonna leave the link in the description box below. But the budget style quiz helps you understand what type of budgeter you are, because budgeting is not one size fits all. It doesn't work the same way for everybody. There are going to be challenges that come up, and you should begin to get an understanding of what those challenges are going to be for you. And that's what the budget style quiz will help you with. So in the meantime, in between time, let's get into these bullet points. Number 1, perfection paralysis. Do you know how many people stop budgeting before they even start? They start thinking to themselves, oh, I'll wait when I'm ready. They think they're going to be their sense of readiness, and that sense doesn't come. You think there's going to be a time where you have finally arrived. A lot of times when I'm talking to potential clients, they say things like, oh, I'm not ready yet. I just got a new job, or I think I'm going to get another job in 6 months, or I'm about to move, or I just finished moving. I don't know if now is the right time. It's not a matter of now being the right time. Now is the only time. Now is the time. This is literally the time. The future is not promised, and every single day that you wait, it's money that you're leaving on the table. So don't let perfection paralysis stop you, because there isn't this sense of like you're finally going to be at this miraculous point where you're ready to start budgeting, where you're ready to take on your finances. And a lot of times people feel like they want to wait because they're like, oh, I'm not ready to be perfect. I'm not ready to go all out in my budget. I'm not ready to stick to it 100%. Well, newsflash, nobody is. Stop putting that type of pressure on yourself and just take action, okay? Number 2, your budget is a practice. I love this. You know how you have a meditation practice. You might have a yoga practice. You might have a self-development practice. Your budget is a practice that gives you insight into ways of being that are either serving you in your financial future or they're not. And these aren't something that you just overcome overnight. Improvements are things that you practice. Refinement is something that you practice. You are never going to get to this place where you feel like you have suddenly conquered your budget, right? This is a process that you're going through in your life. And at different stages of your life, your budget is going to show you different things, right? So I know that, you want to create this pretty and perfect budget that you think you're going to stick to. And it's going to be so nice, and you're going to put it on your desk, and then you're never going to look at it again. But when you realize that this is not about sticking to it 100% of the time, this is not about creating it and then sticking it and following it like a plan. This is about having a relationship with your money. That's it. It's about having an awareness of where your finances are going so that you can make better choices and make informed decisions. So when you start to relate to your budget as something that is informing you constantly versus something that has already told you what to do, like it has already laid out the game plan, but you relate to it as something that is evolving, a living, breathing document that gives you insight into your actions, and that sometimes you're going to listen and sometimes you're not. And your relationship with your budget is going to be completely different. You're going to realize that it is a practice, and you're going to stick with it for the long term instead of thinking that it's one and done, because it's not. Number 3, your budget is a guide. I've already alluded to this. If you went to the gym, right? Let's say your trainer gave you a particular workout and you went to the gym, but you didn't do the exact workout that your trainer gave you. Would you think that you was a failure? No, because you're not. The trainer gave you a guide. They gave you recommendations for what you should do and what you could do. But it's not the case that if you don't follow it 1,000% to the letter of the law, that you're not getting no benefits out of it. Okay, we want to follow the spirit of the law. We want to make sure that we're moving in the direction of the things that really matter to us, and our budget allows us to do that. If you're in the gym and you missed the set, would you feel like it was the end of the world and that you were a failure? No. But somehow people blow their budget in one category, and then all of a sudden they think it's the end of the world. They put their budget to the side, and now it's YOLO for life. It's really not that serious. You went over your budget. Okay, look at, well, why did I go over my budget? How did I feel when I went over my budget? Do I need to reevaluate my budget, or do I need to reevaluate my actions? These are the questions that you should ask yourself when you understand that your budget is a practice. Okay, and finally, the reason that I don't think that you should focus on sticking to your budget is because when you focus on sticking to it, when you don't, guess what happens? You start to feel a sense of guilt or shame. Instead of you understanding that this is meant to give you some directions and suggestions to help you reach your financial goals and accomplish the financial future you desire and deserve, and you start thinking that if I didn't do this, I'm bad. If I didn't follow this, something's wrong. And you start feeling that guilt and shame, and then you stop budgeting. Because who wants to feel guilt? Who wants to feel shame because of their actions? Nobody. And so rather than feel the shame of your imperfection, you move your budget to the side, and then you think to yourself, the cycle starts all over again. I'll get to it when I'm ready. I'll bring it back when I'm ready. I'll focus on it again when I get to a better place. And then that better place never comes. And if it does, this whole cycle just starts again because you're going to do those same things. And so what I want you to do, I want you to give yourself permission to not be perfect with your budget. I want you to understand that this is an ongoing practice and this is not something that you just accomplish overnight. And I want you to make sure that not only do you take our budget style quiz so that you can begin to identify and understand what type of budgeter you are, I also want you to make sure that you download our budget template so that you can get into the real meat of your budget and stop making excuses. We have our Plan and Grow Rich budget template if you're like me and you like to put pen to paper and get real up close and personal with your finances. And we also have the budget spreadsheet if you're also like me and you want to see all of it. You want to see that comprehensive view. You want to get down into the nitty gritty. So the budget template gives you high level and it starts getting into some of the details, but the budget spreadsheet really goes deep or deeper. And it all starts though by understanding how you budget. Like we talked about before in our video about Dave Ramsey's most damaging financial advice, we talked about the fact that budgeting is never one size fits all. And that's what our budget style quiz allows you to get into. How do you budget for your personality? How do you budget for your brain? How do you budget for your lifestyle? Because that is what really matters. And with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure that you go watch our Dave Ramsey's most damaging financial advice or our 3 money mistakes video. I think either one of those could be really awesome and incredible for you. Thank you guys so much. I want you to know that you are not helpless, you are not hopeless, and you are not powerless. In fact, you are powerful beyond measure, and you have everything that it takes to advance and elevate your finances. Thank you guys so much. Have a wonderful day. Gotta stay.